Hey everybody, this is Dr. Chris Dost. Welcome back to my channel, Biblical Languages and Literature. In this video, we are going to just be doing a quick reading of Jonah chapter 1 and verse 3 in Hebrew. Now this video is just a prelude to a much longer video in which I'll deal with the Greek, Aramaic, and Hebrew texts of Jonah. So the Aramaic Targumim, specifically Targum Jonathan of the Prophets, the Septuagint, so we'll look at the Greek, and then, of course, compare that to the Masoretic text, comparing and contrasting all three of those texts. And in that video, we'll also look at the Masorah as well. We'll look at the accent patterns. We'll look at the Masorah Parva notes and the Masorah Magna lists as well. But this video is just a quick reading and analysis and translation of Jonah 1:3 from the Hebrew. Before we get started, I would encourage you, if you haven't already, to subscribe to my Aramaic and Hebrew comprehensive tier. For only $12 a month, you get all the benefits of both the Aramaic beginners package and the Hebrew package. So for only a fraction of what it costs to go to seminary or Bible college to take just one course per semester, you have access to a library of videos that are the equivalent of years and years of seminary study. And I appreciate each and every one of you who are paid subscribers, as your contributions enable me to continue producing these in-depth videos. Thank you so much for your support. All right, let's get started. Okay, so let's read the text. First fast, then slowly, and then fast again. ויקום יונה לברוח תרשישה מלפני אדוני, וירד יפו, וימצא אונייה באה תרשיש, ויתן שכרה וירד בה לבוא עמהם תרשישה מלפני אדוני. Now slowly. ויקום יונה לברוח תרשישה מלפני אדוני, וירד יפו, וימצא אונייה באה תרשיש, ויתן שכרה, וירד בה לבוא עמהם תרשישה מלפני אדוני. And one more time faster. ויקום יונה לברוח תרשישה מלפני אדוני, וירד יפו, וימצא אונייה באה תרשיש, ויתן שכרה, וירד בה לבוא עמהם תרשישה מלפני אדוני. Okay, so the first word, vayakom, this is a consecutive preterite, to use Hackett's terminology. It's a prefix conjugation form that is different from the regular prefix conjugation form. The regular prefix conjugation is yakum with a shuruk. But this is vayakom with the kamatz katan, which historically speaking is a short U-class O-type vowel. Now how we know this is something that I'll discuss in future videos, which deal with topics that are more advanced in nature. But vayakom, for now, suffice it to say that it is a consecutive preterite of the G stem, but he rose. The vav, of course, when read acontextually, could mean and, but, now. It can mean a variety of things, but it's clear from the context that here the best translation is but. But he arose. Now who arose? Well, we expect the subject to follow the verb in Hebrew narrative, and sure enough, we get the subject after vayakom, and it's Jonah. So, but Jonah arose, livroach. Now this is an infinitive construct in the G stem of the verbal root bet resh chet. Bet resh chet. Livroach, to flee. Now you might say, why is there a patach underneath the chet? That is what we call a furtive patach. It is there to facilitate pronunciation. You'll see this, for instance, under the letter ayin as well, when ayin is the final consonant. You'll see it in certain environments, I mean to say. This is a much easier concept to understand when you know a little bit of Arabic, by the way, particularly spoken Arabic. And when you learn a little bit of spoken Arabic, you learn intuitively why the Masoretes added a furtive patach, even though historically there is no short A vowel there. Again, it's an advanced concept that we'll deal with in our videos that deal with more advanced concepts, but for now I thought I'd at least mention that. Please let me know if you have any questions. Vayakom Yonah livoach, but Jonah arose to flee Tarshisha. Now this is the place name, Tarshish, with a locative hey at the end. The kamatz hey suffix in this case indicates location. To Tarshish, to Tarshish. We see this in Exodus 3. Let's go over there for a second. And there we read, Umoshe haya oe et son yitro chotno kohen Midian. Now Moses was shepherding the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, Kohen Midian, vayinhag et atzon achar hamidbar. And he drove the flock, you might say, to the west side of the wilderness. Vayavo el har ha'elohim, and he came to the mountain of God, Choreva, to Horeb. So Chorev is Horeb. Choreva means to Horeb. That is a locative hey. So back in Jonah 1:3, Vayakom Yonah livoach Tarshisha, but Jonah arose to flee to Tarshish, milifnei Adonai. Milifnei, you could say it means from before, and a lot of times that is how one is going to render it, or one should render it. Or one can say from the presence of. Milifnei Adonai. And here we have the tetragram, God's name. Okay, and before we sign off, let's go ahead and read this right out of the Leningrad Codex. Now we can see that verse 2 ends over here with the Sof Pasuk. It's not written very clearly, but there are the two dots. It's really kind of crammed in there. And so verse 3 begins here. Vayakom, Vayakom, Yonah. A little tricky to read here. You see the Yud. The Yud is almost as big as the Vav. We have the Cholam there, the O vowel, and the Kamatz.